Convenience store security camera picked up a gross incident of police misconduct as we see Wilmington, Delaware officer Samuel Waters approach and grab this man unprovoked before slamming his head multiple times into the plexiglass case at the cash register before continuing the beating off camera. However, newly surfaced body cam footage from Officer Waters shows what happened immediately after this act of violence.
Look at my face, bro. You just smashed my face into the glass for nothing. Okay. Then you was going to slam me down. Look what you just did, man. And all I'm asking you is what is going on? Why are you arresting me?
Right. And I told you, I was detaining you. You just need to turn around.
No,
you didn't want to listen.
Tell me anything. You didn't even read my rights or nothing. You didn't tell me what was going on. You just straight started assaulting me, dude. Look at my face.
Stop.
Look at my face, man.
Waters' attitude and dismissive tone of voice is only escalating this interaction further, as he obviously feels his aggression and violence towards the man was justified just because the man didn't immediately submit to his authority without question.
You're f***ing going down, dude. You just assaulted me for no reason.
Okay.
You just assaulted me for no reason, dude.
I wanted to have a conversation with you, and you got squirrely.
You didn't. You wasn't trying to conversate nothing, dude. You was trying to assault me.
Okay.
And if you think the officer's acting out of line so far...
From the door.
Well, so maybe next time I say put your hands in the wall, you'll listen. Instead of being in
the air. My hands were in the air. Now you just assault me. This guy just assaulted me, man. I like to speak to superiors. You just assaulted me. It's all on camera in there, dude.
I see another set of hands in the car. Come on. Let's go.
Why are you trying to twist and break my wrist?
Yeah, probably, because he's one of those fall down, see you, No idea. He don't want to tell me his name. My fingerprint scanner's not working. Okay. I tried to have a conversation with him, and he broke bad, and we ended up fighting.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so he's angry, got his head slammed into a wall, but...
Well, that is what it is. So that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Whatever. So... just figured I'd get some extra hands in case he decides to do something dumb.
Even after warning the medical team that his body cam is on multiple times, they all feel comfortable enough talking trash on the man while Waters completely misrepresents the sitch, which we're speculating was done so Waters could have a legal argument if needed later down the line, and as it turns out was something he actually did need, as coverage from CBS Philly reported that just a month after this arrest occurred, Waters was sued by the man, accusing Waters of violating his civil rights while also alleging he used a racial slur during the arrest, being placed on desk duty while the internal investigation took place, with CNN reporting months later that Waters was indicted on a total of 8 counts, including 2 felonies from this incident and another that occurred earlier in the same month. Waters was either fired or resigned from the force in January of 2022. Waters was facing charges ranging from tampering with public records and second-degree perjury, both felonies, to misdemeanor assault and official misconduct charges. AG Kathy Jennings would say of both incidents that there is a clear and disturbing pattern of violence and deception surrounding Officer Waters' abuse of authority and power as a police officer. Even though we're approaching 2 years removed from both incidents Waters was indicted on, he was just recently convicted with felony tampering public records, falsifying business records, assault, and official misconduct from the arrest we previously saw. Waters had a history of failing to turn on his body cam while also lying in his official report about the incident, an often overlooked aspect of how the police cover up their misconduct and illegal actions to bury incidents like this. Waters will be sentenced later this year as he faces up to 8 years in prison just for these charges alone, and we will keep y'all updated as the case transpires.
I certainly regret that, and I really deeply I hurt for what they went through.
That is an apology from the police chief of Goodlettsville to innocent people arrested by his police department.
A WSMV4 investigation uncovered multiple DUI arrests dismissed from arrests, all made by one officer in Goodlettsville.
So it's the latest discovery by Chief Investigative Reporter Jeremy Finley into how you can be sober and still get a DUI.
Performing a field sobriety test is not what Jeff Adams expected last September as he was heading to his job as a teacher in Brentwood.
I figured I could pass it because, I wasn't drinking. I was on my way to school. It was 5:52 a.m.
Video recorded by an officer shows Adams didn't do well standing on one leg. Still, Adams couldn't believe what happened next. Listen.
Sir, I have not drank a thing. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs.
And Adams wasn't lying. 4 months later, his blood test results show no alcohol, no drugs. But the arresting officer, Noah Warner, wrote he showed several signs of impairment.
I don't think you're safe to operate a motor vehicle.
Can I call my school to let them know that I need a substitute?
The case against Adams was ultimately dismissed. The damage, though, was already done.
It was the most traumatic experience to know that I'm being arrested. I'm about to be fingerprinted, mugshotted. All a man's got is his reputation and his name. And it's getting smeared, and I didn't appreciate it.
Chokes you up a little bit.
It does.
And a WSMV4 investigation found this isn't the only DUI arrest made by Officer Werner that was dismissed. Turns out Adams is the third sober driver to be arrested by Werner for a DUI last year.
There's a problem. There's a pattern, is what this is.
I certainly regret that, and I really deeply, I hurt for what they went through.
Chief Gary Goodwin is Werner's boss at Goodlettsville Police.
If you had just one case, that would be one thing. But in this officer's case, you have 3 people who were sober and arrested for DUI. So what does that tell you?
It doesn't necessarily tell me anything. Obviously, it's concerning. You hate it for these 3 people.
Goodwin admits he's frustrated by the situation. Look at the reports. All 3 drivers, including Adams, showed multiple signs of impairment. In one case, a driver had a half-empty beer can in the driver's side door, but they were all found to be sober.
I'm looking at them and I'm saying, I'm not sure how I fix this.
And an ongoing WSMV4 investigation shows it's not just Goodlettsville. Police are arresting sober people for DUIs all over the mid-state. And because of a backlog at the TBI for alcohol and toxicology reports, we found some innocent drivers are waiting 8 months to get results back. And in many times, sober drivers are asking for breathalyzers. Listen. But they didn't. You can see in the video, Adams was taken to get a blood draw instead. After that, he was taken to jail.
Why not use a breathalyzer each time? That would at least tell you if that person had been drinking alcohol.
So many people that we see now, they're under the influence, but it's not necessarily alcohol.
And a blood test, which takes longer to get back, is the only way to know for sure.
I just put myself in their position, and how would I feel if this happened to me?
Adams knows how it feels each and every time he drives past where he was arrested.
Sometimes I'll refer to it as the scene of the crime, because it was a crime against me.
Jeff Adams kept his job as a teacher. He was not suspended. The additional problem is that he also drives for Uber, and because of his arrest, Uber suspended him. And he estimates he lost out on $15,000 in potential earnings.
Jeremy, this story was so hard to watch. So is Goodlettsville Police doing anything different as a result of this?
Well, the chief says they're reviewing these cases to see if there's anything they need to be doing differently in their field sobriety testing. But the real challenge is that there are so many real drunk drivers, police can't take the risk of not arresting somebody, even if they suspect them of being intoxicated. But these drivers are angry and they are asking for change. Lauren.
Okay, Jeremy, thanks for always covering this for us. We'll look forward to the next update.
Cheryl, the mayor, said earlier this afternoon she didn't know that graphic police body camera existed until it surfaced in media reports earlier this week. She said it was never brought to her attention. But after city lawyers tried to legally block it from becoming public, there's a group of aldermen tonight who say the mayor owes the victim and everyone a full investigation. Chicago police officers stormed into Anjanette Young's home on February 22, 2019, attempting to execute a search warrant. But records show the officers had the wrong home.
I have to call somebody. This is not right. I don't even know what you're doing. You got the wrong house. You got the wrong house.
As she stood there, naked and helpless, armed officers searched Young's home.
Putting handcuffs on me while I was naked. No one should have to experience that.
Anjanette Young stood with her attorney today in front of Chicago Police headquarters, calling out the officers involved.
They didn't serve me. They didn't protect me. They didn't care about me.
After trying to distance herself from the city's attempt to block the video from being publicly released, Mayor Lightfoot apologized.
I am deeply sorry and troubled that her home was invaded and that she had to face the humiliation and trauma that she suffered. That is just not right. It simply should not have happened.
Tonight, several aldermen on Chicago City Council are calling for full hearings.
If we are for the safety and well-being of Black women, if we are for justice, if we are for accountability, we need to make sure that that information is out.
Mayor Lightfoot is asking that all video from the body camera footage that night be released to the public in its entirety. She's also asking state lawmakers to take another look at laws that govern body cam video. Young's lawyer says they plan to be filing lawsuits against both the city and the Chicago Police Department.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.
The Jennings family's Ring camera captured the horrifying moments that the Elyria Police Special Response Team broke down their front door in the middle of the day on Wednesday. 25-year-old Courtney Price was staying at her aunt and uncle's home on Parmalee Avenue in Elyria with her 1-year-old son, Waylon May. She and Waylon were the only ones home when she heard a loud bang.
All I seen was lights flashing and smoke coming into the house.
Police also busted out 2 windows in the home, including this one right behind me. Take a look. You can see it's half boarded up right now. And Price tells me her very sick baby was sitting right below that window in his swing here. And after this happened, her son was covered in glass.
I didn't know what to do because there was guns pointed at me. I wanted to run to him, but I knew if I ran to him, they could have shot. They dragged me out of the house, put me in handcuffs. I kept screaming, my baby, he's on a ventilator, my baby's in here.
Price tells me police threw a flashbang through the window her son was sitting below. In a statement, police told us they did use flashbangs, but said they were only deployed outside the house. 19 News obtained this Ring camera video from a neighbor, showing police throw a device that exploded at the home. Police said flashbangs don't produce a continuous burn and don't contain chemical agents. But Price says her baby's injuries say otherwise.
Do you feel like the reason your baby's in the hospital right now is because of what the police did, because of this raid?
100%. His diagnosis is chemical pneumonosis from the chemicals in the flashbang.
Police told us they assessed the child at the home and he did not have any visible injuries. They also told us, quote, any allegations suggesting the child was exposed to chemical agents, lack of medical attention, or negligence is not true.
Now, I did get my hands on the search warrant in this case. Now, I'm not going to name the suspect because I'm told he's only 14 years old. But according to these documents, police were looking for firearms involved in a burglary. Now, the Jennings family tells me police have come to the home looking for this teenager before, and they said he has not lived there in over a year. In fact, they tell me his family now lives in a different home on the same street.
Rita Jennings and her husband have been renting the home for the past year. She says police knew that the person they were looking for did not live there. But Elyria police maintain the address on the search warrant was correct.
All of our furniture is broke. It's now stained. They just walked all over everything. They even broke my stove.
Elyria police say the investigation that led to the search warrant is ongoing. The family says they're moving to a new home in Garfield Heights next week because they don't feel safe anymore. They also plan to take legal action against the department.
Sunrise police are investigating one of their own after shocking body camera footage showed an altercation between a sergeant and another officer. NBC6 investigator Willard Shepard joins us with that video and what we know so far. Hey, Willard.
Well, there is an investigation underway here, and the chief, Anthony Rosa, taking action here to let the community know what's going on here, but also shows how some of this process that they have been doing to train officers to step in, even concerning with one of their own, if that becomes necessary. We want to show you this video here. I found out this morning this actually took place back in November when the officers here in Sunrise were taking a felon into custody and had that person into custody. There is a sergeant that is seen in the video that pulled out a can of pepper spray, never actually deployed it, but at that moment a second officer stepped in, taking that sergeant by the back of his belt and was moving him backwards when the video shows that that sergeant turned around and put his hands on the throat of the officer who had moved over into that situation. That sergeant has been removed from all of the supervisory capabilities that the sergeant has had here at the police department in Sunrise, and there's an internal affairs investigation underway. The police chief chose to release this video to us and to the public in terms of transparency. That's something the chief doesn't even actually have to do here because he's protected by the Florida law in not releasing it because an internal affairs investigation is underway. But the chief in a statement said that they wanted complete transparency with this. This investigation now moves forward. The chief also commended the officer who stepped in because that officer wanted to take action to de-escalate the situation and thought things were going to escalate. And police and law enforcement across the board have been saying, especially after George Floyd, officers have to step in when they see something that they think that they can prevent that's going wrong, even if it's another officer. And that's what the chief believes was taking place here. Of course, the investigation will continue and move forward. We'll have much more throughout the course of the day on this situation here in Sunrise. In Sunrise, Willard Shepard, NBC6 News.
We have a trespass at 9 Southwest 63, Unit 3. Advise the females on the property not supposed to be there. How do you advise?
Oh, that's what I'm. That's the view as hell. Oh man. What happened to you? Neck's broken. There you go. Put your head in there. Put your head in there. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. There you go. There you go. I'm not gonna let you bite me. You keep looking all afraid. There we go. Just get in there. Come on, baby. Something you up. I'm gonna take you to get help. Gotcha. Nope, don't have you. There you go. Got it. Ah, you smooth dog. Gotcha. Don't let you bite me. Messing about because you're feeling a little sensitive. There you go. Come on. Come on. Trying to help you, baby. Trying to help you. Trying to help you. You stop moving. Come on. There you go. If I get a blanket, just wrap you up. Like smooth as hell. Come on, baby.
You want to meet at 11:05 or 11:02? It's going to be a ROR bond.
Have the dispatcher. I'm gonna pick it up. Going down that already.
540, 5844, 9 Colin, go ahead.
Animal dispatch.
9 Colin, 5844. 9-3, Vehicle 463, status check.
Is that right there?
Drop on a sec.
On scene, Pinot, come in.
Drop on a sec, on the Pinot, come in at 816.
What's up? You on her, dog? Calm down.
My name is Nicholas Hunter. I live.
Okay.
I'm here talking to the officer that shot my dog, who is the person that found my dog and called joint communication. And I have spoke with her, and she has stated that the dog, she fed him, gave him water, and he was not fed. And she was just waiting, which nobody ever contacted her after she called joint communication, at which time she went outside.
I can respond to that. I'll tell you why we didn't call her.
Was my dog a threat to you or anyone else? Sir?
No, I'm going to show you something.
What is your name?
I'm going to show you something.
And your badge number, sir?
My guy, I'm going to show you something. Come here.
May I have your...
I'm answering your questions. Come here.
Officer Woodson.
Come here.
May I have your badge number?
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you why we didn't call her.
That dog was... this is to be known on record. My dog is completely blind and completely deaf.
My guy, look at this.
13-pound
What does that say right there? Does it say no contact? She said don't call her. Now, if you want to talk, I'll talk to you happily.
That's not how you handle a situation. If a dog is a threat to a person and harms a person or shows immediate threat, that's when you use force. There is many other
Do you want
tactics
to talk or you want to tell me how to do the job? I'm more than happy to talk to you. I'm more than happy to talk to you.
There's no talking. You already took care of it. You handled it very poorly. Also, I like to be on the record that you told me whatever on the phone when I called about this situation. Hopefully your calls are recorded when I called in.
Do you want me to respond to anything? Or you just want to sit here and lecture me? I respond to a situation. All I have is information in hand, correct? All I have is information in hand. I see a dog that is walking around blindly. I don't know the dog's blind.
You didn't try to whistle?
Can I respond? Yes, I tried. I have a whole team in contact with me trying to contact him. I had a little leash out too trying to catch the dog. How am I supposed to know the dog is simply, that's his medical condition? Do I know your dog?
A dog, unless
do I know your dog?
You are a person.
You know, that is not how this works.
It's not.
That is not how this works.
We shall find out, sir.
You sure can.
I'm going to do my study.
But are you trying to have a conversation or you just want to keep on
no conversation. I guess if you're one
I'm trying to speak to you.
Citation.
Am I not trying to speak to you? Do I have my citation book out? Is there a pen in my hand? Am I not trying to respond to you? I'm not trying to ease the situation over. It's a situation. I don't enjoy shooting dogs. My guy, all I had was a dog with a condition I don't know anything about it. I am sorry this happened. I'm not happy I had to shoot a dog. I got dogs myself. How am I supposed to know the dog's condition?
You need to wear a camera.
I got a camera on this recording. But I'm asking you, how am I supposed to know the dog's condition?
There's other ways. There's tactics to find out if the dog responds, if he's aggressive.
I understand how to make a dog respond.
Lethal is last resort. You can use a taser. You can use a lasso. There's many other.
Where's the taser? I had a lasso.
Other ways.
I had a lasso. I was using a lasso.
And did you feel harmed when you were trying to catch him?
Did I ever say I felt harmed? Did I feel threatened?
Exactly.
But you're not listening. You're not listening. You're trying to argue, but I'm just simply trying to talk to you.
Did he harm anybody when
I responded to a situation. Do you want to speak or do you just want to sit here and try to lecture me? I'm not trying to lecture you. I'm not saying you're a bad dog owner. I'm saying I have information I have on hand. That's all I'm saying. And I'm sorry it happened to you. I'm sorry I had to do it. That's all I'm saying here. I'm not saying you're a bad owner. You don't see me writing a citation for a dog at large, do you? I'm not. It's a situation, buddy. I'm with you.
Show of authority.
What authority? I went and responded to a dog I thought had a medical issue.
I live by rules and regulations.
How was I supposed to know the dog to get hit by a car?
I lived by rules of engagement for 12 years.
How did I know the dog to get hit by a car?
The proper way.
Huh? How did I know the dog to get hit by a car?
To get hit by a car?
How did I not know that? How did I not know somebody didn't just throw the dog out? How was I supposed to know any of that?
Because you're supposed to, if you are a dog,
It's
to
your
get
dog.
the dog, then you're supposed to catch him, man. You're not supposed to just shoot him.
You did not hear me
That's
say
not
I
what you do.
attempted that.
You
That was my first
You
step.
take them to the pound.
We
and
don't
that's
have a
where
humane
it's
society here.
at. So what is your procedure? Surgeon's
What is my
procedure
procedure?
on when
We
you
have a pound up
lost
there.
dog?
And what if I put the dog in there and it was a medical emergency and the dog was bleeding internally? Then it's just sitting there suffering. And then y'all be on me about a dog suffering.
So
how was I supposed to do? What else am I supposed to do? We don't have a freaking animal
Like
control
everybody
here.
else, it was on there for an hour before you responded and shot it. You're supposed to put it
wasn't on
online,
there for an hour.
put the
What are you talking
dog in back. I have everything on my phone.
Okay.
From when the lady posted it to let me know it was lost and everything.
So it was online for an hour.
let
So
me
I didn't know about it.
Oh,
That's what you're
it's
saying. Okay.
all on Facebook.
Okay.
It's all on Surgeon.
That's fine.
And the lady has stated that there was no cause for that. There was no reason for it.
She stated afterwards.
She stated afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, she stated afterwards.
I understand that.
And you could put them in bag. And you can put them
Okay, if I
online,
can catch
and
him,
if you can't find
them.
them,
If I can catch him, I can find. I
a
can bring him
squealing
back.
dog insinuates pain. He was not squealing.
Okay. You think all dogs squeal when they're in pain?
Most dogs squeal when they're in
See,
pain.
not all, but most. Okay.
Most squeal when they're in pain.
Yeah. I'm not denying that. Yes, everything squeals when they're in pain. How was I supposed to know the dog? I didn't know the condition of the dog. That's what you're living in the world of. I get it. Your dog died. I'm not judging you on that.
No,
I'm sitting here apologizing. I had to do that.
I can handle it if a dog died, if a dog was put down for the proper reason.
Okay.
It's the reason that you went
See,
about
you're
your
living
authority.
in the world that
Just
you know
the
all
first
the
thing
conditions.
to pull out a weapon.
But you know all the conditions of the dog. That's what I don't have.
He was not aggressive to
Okay.
a person, and he was not a harm to anybody.
Okay, why was your dog not put in the house then, buddy?
He was in a kennel. He escaped from it. I just went to Columbia.
Okay, and where did I find the dog?
How do I know? You did not make any attempt to do anything properly besides lethal force.
What did I do properly?
Lethal force.
So you weren't there.
What you went to.
You weren't there, but you know I did everything wrong.
So did the dog seen it? Or
Show me a taser. Do I got a taser? You don't have a
your
taser.
hands are probably fine. You whistled to it, didn't respond. You go up to it.
Have you ever really worked with an injured dog?
Have you had dog training?
Have you ever worked with an injured dog?
Yes. We get dog training military and at my work.
I'm military too, high speed.
And so,
I get it.
and so therefore, you should know a dog that's showing aggression.
I know what an aggressive dog is.
All that, and that dog does not show any of those sorts. He shows confusion with his head sideways, walking side to side.
And as military, you know you read the signs you have on hand. Without all the material, can you read a simple, peaceful dog? No, you cannot. How was I supposed to know the dog was blind and just confused? How was I supposed to know any of that?
By attempting to get close to him.
I did attempt.
Using an object, which is always taught to use an object.
I
That
literally
way, if
just
the
showed
dog
you
comes
I
at you, you said
attempted.
you've taken training. The first thing they teach you is to, when a dog
No,
comes
you
at
said I've
you,
taken
to
training.
put an object in front of them, and they will bite on any object you put in front of them. That's the training that they put out. So you take an object and you touch him, and you see how he responds.
All right. Y'all good?
No, we're not good.
I'm still sorry it happened to you, brother.
Good, buddy. We're not good.
All right. Have a better night. Have a better night.
A Rutherford County deputy is being criticized tonight for arresting and charging a sober driver with DUI. Good evening, I'm Marius Payton.
I'm Lauren Lowry. And I'm Tracy Cornett. This deputy was just awarded a top honor by Mothers Against Drunk Driving for arresting the highest number of suspected drunk drivers.
Our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, continues his reporting into how sober people are getting DUIs in Tennessee. Okay, so Jeremy, you just keep finding more innocent people charged with this crime.
Yeah, we sure do. And they are all suffering not only from the humiliation of being charged with a DUI while they're sober, but they have to wait months for blood tests to come back to clear their name. In our investigations, we've been looking closely at the body cameras of these arrests and found troubling similarities. There's a joke around the pool halls in Rutherford County about what David Dutton doesn't shoot.
But kidding me about me being drunk, and they all know that I don't drink.
So you can imagine what his son thought when he got a call from his dad last August.
He said, I got arrested last night. And I said, wait, what?
Saying he'd been arrested for a DUI after playing pool.
So my first was just like, Okay, like, what could you have done? You're 75 years old. I know he doesn't drink.
But after being pulled over for a missing headlight and for drifting off the shoulder, Dutton was arrested for DUI, booked, and spent hours in jail. It would take 5 months for the test results to come back, showing he was completely sober the entire time.
The stress level was really bad, and I thought, wow, this is actually how I lose my dad. You know, I thought he would have a heart attack.
And the officer who arrested him, Deputy Zach Williams, was awarded the 2023 Top Enforcer honor in the county by Mothers Against Drunk Driving for charging the most drivers, 51 with DUIs, the previous year. By the numbers, an expert on identifying suspected drunk drivers. So how did an expert then charge an innocent man with a crime? And why are we finding case after case of it happening to other sober drivers throughout Middle Tennessee? Well, body camera footage reviewed by WSMV4 Investigates shows a common theme that could explain why it's happening. Take a look. Not only did Dutton offer up his debit card instead of his ID when officers approached, he repeatedly stumbles during the field sobriety test.
I just not balanced. Gotcha.
But Dutton also acknowledges his medical problems. He's diabetic, hadn't taken his insulin that night, and suffers from a slipped disc.
So you've been dealing with a disc for 45 years? Oh, yeah.
Even though the deputy notes, Dutton says he does not have any other physical restrictions, Dutton's son says his 75-year-old father forgot to mention one major issue.
My dad has had vertigo for 10 years.
Here's why that's important. We found sober drivers getting DUIs often have health problems that can impact how they perform on field sobriety tests. William Rose is bow-legged. Bill Shank and Katie Slayton have ADHD, which makes it harder to pay attention to instructions. But there's also this. Before Dutton was even given a field sobriety test, listen to what officers say about people who shoot pool.
Never known a sober person shoot much pool. Oh, I know.
If you show up on a crime scene looking for someone to arrest, you will find someone to arrest.
Murfreesboro attorney Scott Kimberly did not represent Dutton, but estimates he's had 10 to 15 sober clients arrested for DUI and believes too often officers feel they must make an arrest, even if a driver acknowledges health problems.
Increased training to help explain to officers what non-substance abuse, non-alcohol, non-drug explanations could exist for what may otherwise look like criminal conduct.
We wanted to talk to Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and especially Deputy Zach Williams, but their spokeswoman denied that request. Writing in part, we understand that in some rare cases, blood tests return indicating no drugs or alcohol. In those cases, the charges are dismissed. But that does not mean that probable cause did not exist at the time of the arrest. Probable cause that made this pool shark sink to a new level of humiliation.
It was embarrassing because I had to call a neighbor, well, my cousin really, lives 2 doors down from me, to come and get me at 3 o'clock in the morning and tell him I was in jail.
Okay, so Jeremy, are police officers even required to conduct a medical assessment before you're asked to do a field sobriety test?
Well, they are, Lauren. One of them is what you're seeing here. It shows how well you can follow an object with your eyes. And Mr. Dutton actually passed that test and then failed the field sobriety test. As you just heard, attorneys like Scott Kimberly say it's time for training statewide on DUI arrests to focus more on potential other reasons people fail the test. Tracy?
Wow. Jeremy Finley tonight, thank you.
A mother in Florida says her 12-year-old was roughed up, handcuffed, and placed in the back of a police car for nothing. BNC's Dre Clark joins us now by phone with the details. Dre, what happened here?
Well, Tashani, good afternoon to you. It's just a horrible situation happening in a town called Apopka there in Florida near Orlando. This all happened on February 20th. A 12-year-old boy is riding to the park. He leaves his grandmother's house. He's riding to the park, and he says all of a sudden 2 pickup trucks pull up on him with their white men inside the trucks, and they point to his bike and say, "That's our bike. That's the bike." And so he's confused. He's trying to figure out what's going on because this is a bike he had just gotten for Christmas a few months ago. And the police were called in, and they questioned this little boy, and then they put him in handcuffs. And the moment that starts happening, there, on the cell phone video, you can see the community gets really angry. They're yelling at the police officers because they're saying, that's a 12-year-old boy. He's afraid. He's confused. What are you doing? They put him in handcuffs. They put him in the back of the car. And then come to find out, after looking at this young man's bike, this young boy's bike, they realize that it's not stolen. The bike actually belongs to him. It was his bike. His mother made it very clear he got the bike for Christmas. He didn't steal anything, but yet this 12-year-old was charged with robbery and 2 counts of battery because the police said he beat up 2 white kids and then stole their bike. So he's still facing the possibility of being charged. The 12-year-old said that he felt afraid because one of the officers had his hand on his gun. He said he wanted to run away, but he knew not to do that, so he stayed there. But certainly he is traumatized. His mother is traumatized, and we had a conversation with her about the incident. And here's just a small bit of what she shared with us about her son's arrest. Take a listen.
To put him in handcuffs, rough him up, throw him in the back of the police stop. They took his fingerprints and everything. And I told her what was done. I said, you taking my baby fingerprints like he's a criminal. And so you guys never gave my baby a chance to say he was innocent.
Yeah, you can see the video again of people who live in that community very angry with the police, and because they said some of the officers were a little heavy-handed in how they handled this little boy. You can clearly see that he was afraid, and they were not happy at all with how 1 or 2 of those officers on the scene handled that young boy. Again, he's still facing the possibility of charges. He was initially charged with 2 counts of battery and 1 count of robbery, although his mother did say to us that when they went to find out more about the charges, they were told that the criminal charges were never filed. However, there was a standing civil complaint against him, and so they're now trying to get to the bottom of that. Will that civil complaint also be dropped against him? Because, he really did nothing wrong at all. He was just riding his bike to the park. And unfortunately was blamed for doing something that he simply did not do. But this is still a standing civil complaint. And so 1 or 2 things can happen here. They can either drop the complaint, which they probably should do considering he's innocent, or the family could agree to this in lieu of criminal charges, and he could maybe be assigned community service or have to go to like a class for 4 or 8 hours. I don't know what the class would be, but as part of that process. But at this point in time, the family says he should not be penalized for anything. And naturally, they're also talking with lawyers to figure out what the next step might be when you consider looking at the video. And then the bottom line is it was his bike. He was accused of stealing his own bike. And in the process, he felt, very afraid that something bad was going to happen to him between the white guys in the truck and the police officers rolling up on him. He was traumatized, and you can understand he's so young. He's a young boy.
I'm sure. Doing what 12-year-olds do, ride your bike to the park. I'm
Right.
just, I'm lost for words, the way they do our babies. Dre, I'm sorry, I wish we had time. We gotta go. We'll chat with you a little later about this story, disturbing story.